Have you noticed something a little different about family vacations lately? Maybe a few more faces in the photos spanning a few more generations? Well, there's a really fascinating trend reshaping how families travel, and it's all being driven by a pretty surprising source: the grandparents. So let's get into what's really happening here.
Get this, a recent survey found that a full 50% of grandparents are now paying for these big multi-generational family trips. Yeah, that's half. And we're not just talking about chipping in for souvenirs. We're talking about funding the whole experience, flights, hotels, you name it.
And this quote from Michelle Bork at Travelmation just nails it. She says, the dynamic has totally flipped. Grandparents are stepping up and saying, we got this, turning those dream trips into a reality for the entire family. So the big question is, what's behind this huge shift?
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll break down this grandma's budget trend. Then we'll dig into why these trips are so much more than a vacation. We'll look at how the travel industry is jumping on board, give you a playbook for planning your own trip, and finally, we'll talk about these journeys as an investment in family memories.
So what do we even mean by multi-generational travel? And just how big has this whole thing become? Let's break it down.
It's pretty simple, really. Multi-generational travel is just when you've got 3 or more generations on one trip. So think grandparents, parents, and the kids, all together. There's also this cool little niche called skip-gen travel, where it's just the grandparents and the grandkids, skipping the parents' generation for some special bonding time.
And when I say this is a big deal, I mean it's a huge deal. Look at these numbers. Almost 9 out of 10 travel advisors are selling these trips. It makes up 2/3 of their business. And bookings have shot up 35% in just the last 3 years. This isn't just some small trend, it's a full-on market explosion.
So, what kicked this into high gear? A lot of it was the pandemic. After so much time spent apart, there's this really powerful urge to reconnect and make up for lost time. I think families are realizing just how precious these moments together are, especially when the world feels so unpredictable.
And that leads us perfectly into our next point. Because these trips, they're about so much more than just a change of scenery. Let's dive into the deeper, more emotional reasons that are driving families to pack their bags together.
The motivations here, they run deep. We're talking about strengthening family bonds away from all the day-to-day distractions. It's about creating those core memories that everyone will talk about for years. For grandparents, it's a chance to pass down family stories, their legacy. And for the kids, it's an incredible learning experience. Honestly, for everyone involved, sharing these moments is a proven way to lower stress and just feel happier.
I love this quote from advisor Andrea Heagney because it captures the practical magic of it all. A multi-gen trip is basically a family reunion where nobody has to cook or clean up. Everyone just gets to show up, relax, and actually enjoy being together. Okay, so with so many families hitting the road together, and with grandma and grandpa often footing the bill, you can bet the travel industry has taken notice. And they are adapting in a big, big way. Now, here's a key thing to understand. When grandparents are paying, they're not usually looking to cut corners. They're investing in a premium memory for the whole family, which means the industry is shifting away from budget options and really leaning into those high-end, all-inclusive experiences. This is exactly where all-inclusive resorts are hitting a home run. They've perfectly cracked the code for multi-gen travel. They've got kids clubs for the little ones, adventure stuff for teens and parents, and then fine dining and spas for the grandparents. Everybody can have their own perfect vacation all in the same place.
And you're seeing this adaptation everywhere. Resorts are building suites with connecting rooms. Cruise lines are basically floating amusement parks with everything from water slides to Broadway shows. Tour operators are creating these incredible adventure trips to bucket list places like Antarctica, and they're timing them with school holidays. Even tech is getting in on it, with booking tools to make planning for a big group way less of a headache.
So it doesn't matter what your family's vibe is. Whether you're dreaming of an action-packed safari or just a week of doing absolutely nothing by the pool, there is now an option tailor-made for you. The variety of experiences out there has never been better.
Okay, so you're feeling inspired. You're ready to get the whole family together for an adventure. But how do you actually pull it off without, pulling your hair out? Let's get into a practical, step-by-step playbook for planning your own trip.
A successful trip really boils down to 5 key steps. 1. Start planning early, like months in advance, and get dates that everyone agrees on. 2. Designate a couple of leaders to handle the main logistics. 3. Pick a destination that actually works for everyone's interests and budget. 4. Plan your must-do activities ahead of time. And 5, probably the most important, have a really open conversation about the budget.
And when you're picking a spot, something simple like this comparison chart can be a huge help. You can lay out a few options, like these European cities, and see how the costs and activities stack up. It just makes it easier for the whole group to decide what feels right. Like you can see Barcelona offers that great mix of culture and beach time, and it's a bit easier on the wallet.
And here are a few pro tips to make everything go even smoother. Always think about accessibility. A ground floor bedroom for the grandparents can be a game changer. Don't lug all that bulky baby gear. You can rent things like cribs and strollers at your destination now. Use group chats and apps to keep everyone in the loop. And maybe the biggest tip of all, schedule downtime. A jam-packed itinerary just leads to everyone being exhausted.
So finally, let's zoom out. Let's look beyond the logistics and the cost, because at their heart, these trips represent something much deeper, an investment in the family itself.
This quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? For so many grandparents, it's this realization that time is the one thing you can't get more of. They want to use their money to build a legacy of joy and connection with the people they love the most. It's about spending it here, together, right now.
And a lot of the time, that means tackling those big bucket list dreams as a team. Seeing an incredible wonder of the world isn't just a personal checkbox anymore. It becomes a shared chapter in your family's history, a story that's going to be told for generations.
So what we're really seeing is this fundamental shift away from gifting things to gifting experiences. A trip is a present that never gets old, never breaks, never goes out of style. It's an investment in your family's memory bank, and those memories just get more valuable over time.
In the end, a vacation might last for a week, maybe 2. But the impact, the photos, the inside jokes, the shared sense of wonder, that stuff lasts a lifetime. So the only real question left is, what memories do you want to create? What will your family's story be?